All right, let's dive into something incredibly vital for India's industrial future. We're talking about the essential competencies, the skills needed for the workforce in this age of Industry 4.0. And we're drawing our insights from a really groundbreaking research paper. It's titled Enhancing Human Capital for Industry 4.0, A Case of Indian Manufacturing Sector. It's authored by Dr. Kiran Marlapudi and Professor Ushalenka from the Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. So our mission today, basically, to pull out the most important nuggets from their work, give you a shortcut, to understanding what skills are really driving the change in Indian manufacturing. You'll get clear insights, maybe some surprising facts, those aha moments, without feeling totally overwhelmed. So what does this all actually mean for the future of work in India, and maybe for you?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? The whole global manufacturing scene is undergoing this profound transformation. It's all driven by Industry 4.0. Think cyber-physical systems, AI, the Internet of Things, all integrated.
Right, creating those smart factories we hear about.
Exactly. Smart factories promising better efficiency, more productivity, innovation. But, and this is the key thing, this huge technological leap demands a completely new set of skills, a really diverse set, and that's creating this critical competency gap.
A gap we need to bridge.
Precisely. And bridging that gap is what this deep dive is all about illuminating.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit more. Industry 4.0 is changing manufacturing everywhere. How is India fitting into this global picture?
Well, India's manufacturing sector is pretty significant. It made up about 17% of GDP in 2023, and the aim is to get that up to 25% by 2025. It's also a massive employer.
Yeah, huge ambitions there.
Definitely. And the government has initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, trying to make the country a global manufacturing hub. But India faces similar challenges to everywhere else, really. A skills gap, not enough Industry 4.0 know-how, workforce readiness issues.
So identifying these specific skills becomes crucial.
Absolutely crucial. If India wants to hit those manufacturing goals, nailing these competencies is key.
And the study we're looking at, Dr. Marlapudi and Praflenka's work, it zooms in on basic metal manufacturing in India, right? Iron, steel, aluminum.
Yeah.
Why that sector specifically?
That's a great question. This sector is, traditionally very labor intensive, and it often involves pretty significant health hazards, high temperatures, chemicals, pollutants.
Right, tough working conditions.
Exactly. So adopting Industry 4.0 tech here offers huge benefits. We're talking advanced automation, better productivity, less downtime thanks to predictive maintenance, and critically, much better working conditions and improved employee safety.
So it's not just about the bottom line.
Not at all. It's also about hitting sustainable development goals, reducing pollution, industrial waste. It ties into well-being and environmental responsibility, too.
Okay, so they zeroed in on this sector. How did they actually figure out which competencies were the most critical? Sounds like a complex puzzle.
Yeah, it's a really important question. How do you assess this systematically? They used a very rigorous method. First, they did a huge literature review, scoured major databases, looked at reports from places like the World Economic Forum, Deloitte. That helped them identify over 130 potential competencies.
Wow, 130. That's a lot to sift through.
It is. So then they carefully organized these into groups and subgroups, made it more manageable.
And then came the expert input, I assume. That's where you get the real-world validation.
Exactly. This is where it gets really practical. They use something called the analytic hierarchy process, or AHP.
AHP.
Yeah, it's a multi-criteria decision-making method. Basically, it helps you prioritize complex choices. They brought in 18 experts, people with loads of industry experience, strategic decision-makers from big iron, steel, aluminum companies, even folks from government ministries.
So people who really know the ground reality in India.
Precisely. These experts gave detailed feedback and ranked the competencies through what are called pairwise comparisons, like comparing competency A to competency B, B to C, A to C, and so on.
Okay, so a very structured way to get expert consensus.
Exactly. It ensured strong empirical validation specifically for the Indian context. This let them prioritize based on actual relevance and impact, not just theory.
So after all that, the study identified 7 main competency groups and I think 21 subgroups.
Yeah.
What landed right at the top? What's the absolute priority?
Yeah, the results showed a really clear hierarchy. Digital technical competencies and industry-specific competencies came out way ahead.
The top 2.
The top 2.
Mm-hmm.
The study even calls them competitive edge competencies for the Industry 4.0 workforce.
Competitive edge.
They reflect the immediate needs, tackling the unique challenges of smart manufacturing right now.
Okay, let's unpack that number 1 then. Digital technical skills got a huge 36.4% weightage. What exactly falls under that umbrella?
Right, this group is all about being effective in this super digitalized environment. The very top subgroup within this, data management and governance. This ranked highest globally, even before the India-specific ranking. It's about controlling, protecting, securing all that massive data flowing from connected devices.
So data isn't just for the IT department anymore.
Not at all. Everyone needs some level of data literacy. Also vital in this group are data analysis and visualization. Think IoT sensors generating data, AI helping make sense of it. People need to understand and use that.
Right.
Then you've got programming and technical skills, especially for AI and machine learning applications. And maybe a bit lower, but still essential, digital literacy, just being comfortable communicating and interacting with these advanced systems and understanding IT security.
Yeah, security seems critical with everything connected.
Absolutely vital.
Okay.
A breach isn't just data loss. It can shut down production or cause safety issues. So with that awareness needs to be everywhere.
Makes total sense. Okay, so after digital technical, the second priority was industry-specific competencies with about 20.7% weight. What does that cover?
This is about the specialized skills needed for that particular industry to shift from old ways to new digital processes. Key subgroups here include additive manufacturing. You probably know it as 3D printing.
Right, 3D printing.
It's changing how things are made, faster prototypes, lower costs, complex designs, huge potential. Then there's the Industrial Internet of Things, IIoT. This is about using sensors on machinery for things like predictive maintenance.
So the machine tells you it needs fixing before it breaks.
Exactly. Reduces downtime massively, makes operations smoother. Then you have robot-assisted production, using robots for speed, efficiency, and often for dangerous tasks.
Improving safety again.
Definitely. And finally, augmented reality, AR. This is really interesting. It's used for training, especially in hazardous jobs.
How does that work? Like overlaying instructions?
Yeah, exactly. Overlaying digital info onto the real world through glasses or screens. Great for training safely through simulation. It's a real game changer for safety and getting people skilled up quickly.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so those are the top two, digital, technical, and industry specific. What came next in the rankings?
Following those top two, cognitive competencies ranked third, with around 11.9% priority. These are really your mental skills, how you process information, make decisions, adapt.
The thinking skills.
Right. Crucial ones here are problem solving and decision making, analyzing complex situations and finding solutions. Also, creativity and innovation, coming up with new, impactful ideas. And maybe the most important one for Industry 4.0 is agile learning.
Agile learning. Meaning learning quickly.
Yes, but more than that.
Yeah.
It's the ability to constantly unlearn old ways, upskill with new knowledge, and reskill for different tasks. You have to thrive in these super dynamic environments. Continuous learning is basically non-negotiable now.
That theme definitely keeps coming up. So what about the business side of things? Management, strategy?
Yeah, that brings us to business competencies, ranking fourth with about 10.6% priority. The biggest subgroup here is leadership and team management. Interestingly, this ranked third globally across all competencies, even before the India focus.
Wow, so leadership is universally critical in this shift.
Absolutely. Guiding and motivating teams through constant change at every level. Also vital here are planning and organizing skills, essential for driving performance when things feel uncertain or are changing fast.
Okay, so I've got the technical, the industry-specific, the cognitive, the business skills. What about the more maybe foundational human skills?
Good point. Because while those top ones give the competitive edge, the study really stresses that the core generic competencies are still the foundation. So behavioral competencies came in fifth at 7.5%. This includes things like strategic engagement.
Strategic engagement.
Meaning actively participating in planning and improving processes, not just doing your assigned task, but thinking bigger picture.
Yeah.
And also versatility or adaptability, handling pressure, complexity.
Essential in dynamic environments.
Totally. Then sixth, social competencies at 6.6%. This is all about effective interaction. Subgroups like people and relationship management for collaboration and collaborative engagement for sharing knowledge, teamwork, often across digital platforms now.
So the people skills, still vital.
More than ever, perhaps, to make the technology work effectively. And finally, seventh, personal competencies at 6.1%. This covers self-awareness, self-development, things like social and emotional intelligence, a lifelong learning and growth mindset. There's that learning theme again, and autonomy and independence, which also includes things like ethical awareness and thinking about sustainability.
So it's a really holistic picture, from high-tech skills right down to personal attributes.
Exactly. You need the whole package. These foundational skills are the bedrock for everything else.
So we have this incredibly detailed ranking from Dr. Marlapudi and Professor Linga. What does it actually mean on the ground? For companies, for educators, for policymakers in India? Why should our listeners really care about these findings?
Yeah, the practical implications are huge. This study isn't just academic, it's a roadmap. For educators, it's a clear signal. Align your curriculums. Integrate courses on IoT, machine learning, AR. Emphasize hands-on digital tech, right from vocational training up to university level.
So education needs to adapt fast.
Definitely. For policymakers, it suggests revising skill development policies, especially focusing on unskilled and semi-skilled workers. Think vocational training, digital literacy programs that are accessible.
Okay. And for companies, HR departments.
For them, it's about strategic investment in their people, upskilling, reskilling the existing workforce, which is often multi-generational. They need to prioritize developing these top-ranked digital and industry-specific skills. And, crucially, bake this into how they hire, how they evaluate performance, how they map out careers.
So it's not just training, it's embedding it in the company culture.
Precisely. It's about cultivating these competencies across the board.
It sounds like this isn't just tweaking job descriptions, it's leading to entirely new kinds of roles. What new jobs are emerging that need these specific skills?
Oh, absolutely. The study points to roles like IoT engineers, smart machine operators, quality control analysts who work with new processes, automation specialists, augmented reality trainers.
Augmented reality trainers, what would they actually do?
Well, imagine using AR headsets or tablets to guide a trainee through a complex or dangerous maintenance task. The trainer designs these simulations, guides the learning, ensures safety through virtual practice before tackling the real thing.
Very cool. And an IoT engineer?
They'd be monitoring and analyzing that constant stream of data from sensors on the factory floor, looking for patterns, predicting when a machine might fail, optimizing the whole production flow in real time.
So really leveraging those top digital and industry-specific skills.
Directly. These new roles are essential for making the smart factory actually work effectively and safely. And, if we step back and look at the bigger picture, lots of studies talk about Industry 4.0 skills, but often they look at skills in isolation or just a few groups. What makes this study by Dr. Kiran Marlapudi and Prof. Ushalenka really stand out is its holistic approach.
Wow.
They didn't just list skills. They empirically validated all 7 competency groups together, using that rigorous AHP method with Indian experts.
So it's specifically tailored and validated for India's context.
Exactly. It gives this incredibly structured, comprehensive framework that's based on evidence, not just anecdotes.
Yeah.
It really drives home that employee competencies are a core strategic asset, a reliable guide for India's future.
And there you have it, a really thorough, deep dive into the critical skills needed for Industry 4.0 in Indian manufacturing. It absolutely highlights that investing in people and the right human capital is just pivotal for success for companies and for the country. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiran Marlapudi and Prof. Ushalenka, for sharing such valuable and detailed insights from your research paper, Enhancing Human Capital for Industry 4.0, a Case of Indian Manufacturing Sector. Your work from the Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, is truly foundational. Really important stuff for understanding and shaping India's industrial future. Sound of a brief, engaging podcast outro tune. So this deep dive really shows that India's industrial future isn't just about the technology, the machines. It's fundamentally about the people, the minds behind them. As you think about your own career or maybe your organization's strategy, it's worth asking, are we just buying the tech, or are we truly investing in the human skills needed to unlock its potential? Maybe even to define what comes next, like an Industry 5.0. Something to think about. That's all for this in-depth discussion. We will meet again in the next deep dive.